Have you ever thought about what happens to a masterpiece when the artist puts down the brush for the very last time?
That's a heavy question. Usually it goes into a museum or it gets sold to the highest bidder. But the artist, they have to walk away.
Exactly, they walk away. And that exact moment, that separation, is something millions of entrepreneurs face every single day, yet almost nobody wants to talk about it until it's too late. We spend decades building a business, pouring our blood, sweat, and tears into it. It becomes our identity. But what happens when it's time to exit?
It's the ultimate founder's dilemma. You spend your whole life learning how to build, how to scale, and how to fight off the competition, but no one teaches you how to leave. And the statistics are actually terrifying. So many successful, profitable businesses just quietly fade away or get sold for pennies on the dollar simply because there was zero transition plan in place.
Which is exactly why this topic caught my eye today. There's a fascinating initiative happening on May 21st over at the Hall of Fame Village. Transworld Business Advisors of Canton is hosting a completely free business transition workshop. And it got me thinking, why is a workshop like this so desperately needed right now? What is happening in the market?
It's needed because the market is facing a massive demographic shift. We have a whole generation of business owners who are reaching retirement age. They own millions of small to mid-sized businesses across the country. But here's the kicker. The vast majority of their net worth is locked up in that business. It's not liquid. If they can't transition it properly, they don't just lose their legacy, they lose their retirement.
That is a staggering amount of wealth just hanging in the balance. It's almost like having a giant vault full of gold, but you never bother to write down the combination to the lock. You know it's there, but you can't access it when you actually need it.
That is the perfect analogy. And the lock, in this case, is a proper exit strategy. Business owners are notoriously bad at this because they are too busy putting out daily fires. They are operators. When you are the one making sure the inventory arrives, the customers are happy, and the payroll is met, you aren't thinking about what happens 5 years from now when you want to step down.
Right? And there is a massive emotional hurdle too. I mean, think about it. For a lot of these folks, their business is their first child. You don't just hand your child over to a stranger without a lot of anxiety. How do you even begin to detach your personal identity from the company name on the door?
It's incredibly painful. I've seen founders sabotage their own sales subconsciously because they couldn't bear to let go. They overvalue the company based on their emotional attachment. They think, I worked 80-hour weeks for 20 years, I missed family dinners, so this company is worth $10 million. But the market doesn't care about your sleepless nights. The market cares about cash flow, customer concentration, and whether the business can survive without the founder.
Oh, that's a harsh reality check. The market doesn't care about your memories. So when a group like Transworld Canton steps in to host a workshop, especially at a venue like the Hall of Fame Village, what are they actually trying to fix? Is it just about the math, or is it about managing that emotional detachment?
It has to be both. And the choice of venue is actually quite poetic if you think about it. The Hall of Fame is all about cementing a legacy, right? It's where the greats are immortalized. For a business owner, a successful exit is their Hall of Fame moment. It's the final whistle. The workshop is designed to show them that a transition isn't just a financial transaction, it's a structural handover. You have to start preparing years in advance. You need to clean up your books, create standard operating procedures, and essentially make yourself obsolete.
Make yourself obsolete. That is such a counterintuitive piece of advice for an entrepreneur. Your whole career is built on being indispensable. You are the rainmaker, the chief problem solver, and now you're saying the ultimate goal is to become completely useless to your own company?
Precisely. If a business falls apart the second the founder goes on a 2-week vacation, it's not a business. It's just a very stressful, high-paying job. Buyers want to buy a self-sustaining machine. They want to buy a system. If they are just buying you and you are leaving, what are they actually paying for?
That makes total sense. Let's dig into that emotional side a bit more. Beyond just the valuation price, what are these founders actually afraid of when they think about handing over the keys?
Oh, the fears are endless, and they are deeply personal. The number one fear I see is about the employees. You have staff members who have been with you through thick and thin. They helped you survive the lean years. The idea of selling to a corporate buyer who might just come in, slash jobs, and strip the company for parts, that keeps founders awake at night. They feel a profound sense of paternal or maternal responsibility to their team.
You aren't just selling assets, you are handing over people's livelihoods. That has to weigh heavily on anyone with a conscience.
Exactly. And then there is the fear of brand destruction. You put your family name on a local business, it stands for quality in the community for 3 decades. What if the new owner cuts corners? What if the quality plummets? Suddenly, your legacy in the town is tarnished, even though you aren't the one running it anymore.
So how does an advisor help navigate that? Because you can't exactly put a clause in a contract that says you must run this business with the exact same passion and moral compass that I did.
You can't dictate passion, but you can structure the deal to protect your interests. You can find strategic buyers who align with your corporate culture. You can structure earnouts where part of your payment is tied to the future performance of the company, which ensures the buyer is incentivized to maintain stability. But to do any of this, you need leverage. And you only get leverage by preparing early. If you are selling because you are burnt out or sick or desperate, you have no leverage. You take what you can get.
Ah, the desperation sale, the absolute worst case scenario. It's like going to the grocery store when you are starving. You make terrible decisions and grab whatever's in front of you.
That is a brilliant way to put it. You grab whatever is on the shelf. That is exactly why firms like Transworld host these free workshops. You might wonder, why give away all this valuable advice for free? It's because the biggest bottleneck in the business brokerage industry is uneducated sellers. If an advisor can get to a founder 3 years before they actually want to sell, educate them, and help them clean up their operations, the eventual sale is going to be infinitely smoother and more profitable for everyone involved.
It's an investment in the ecosystem. They are essentially seeding the ground for a healthier local economy. Because when a local business fails to transition and just closes its doors, it's not just the founder who loses out. The neighborhood loses a staple. The local supply chain takes a hit.
That is the broader social impact. A successful business transition is actually an act of community preservation. It requires a massive psychological shift. You go from being a builder to being an architect of succession. It requires humility. You have to admit that the company can and should outgrow you. You have to let the next generation of leadership take your foundational work and maybe change it, modernize it, or take it in a direction you wouldn't have chosen.
Which is why having that objective third party is so crucial. They are the emotional buffer between the seller's pride and the buyer's spreadsheet. Because when you are sitting at the negotiating table and a potential buyer starts pointing out all the flaws in your business to drive the price down, it feels like someone telling you your baby is ugly. You need a professional there to keep you from walking out of the room.
Precisely. An advisor keeps the deal on track. They know how to position the business's weaknesses as opportunities for the new buyer. They handle the confidential marketing so your competitors don't find out you're looking to sell and use it against you. There is an entire ecosystem of strategy that goes into this, which is exactly the kind of knowledge gap a workshop aims to fill.
It really makes you appreciate the unseen mechanics of the business world. We always celebrate the grand openings, the ribbon cuttings, the startup funding rounds. But the exit? The exit is done behind closed doors, wrapped in non-disclosure agreements. It's the invisible finale of the entrepreneurial journey.
And ironically, it is the most important financial event of that entrepreneur's life. You can run a profitable business for 20 years, but if you botch the exit, you compromise everything you worked for. That's the profound reality. The exit is the ultimate test of what you've actually built.
The ultimate test. That is a powerful thought to linger on. It really redefines what it means to be a successful business owner. It's not just about how well you can steer the ship, but how smoothly you can hand over the wheel.
Absolutely. It's about leaving the campsite better than you found it, ensuring that the fire keeps burning long after you've gone home.
So for anyone listening who owns a business, whether it's a local bakery or a massive manufacturing plant, ask yourself this. If you had to walk away tomorrow, what would remain? Are you building a legacy that can stand on its own? Or are you just building a monument to yourself? It's a question worth answering. And if you don't have the answer yet, maybe it's time to start looking for one. Perhaps starting at a place like the Hall of Fame Village isn't such a bad idea.
The clock is always ticking. The best time to plan your exit was the day you started the business. The second best time is today.